in high school, I get to meet different people from different backgrounds, and everyone has a story to tell, and everyone is from a different family. So I go to tuition, and yeah, I am influenced, let's go here, let's have a party. I have never been to a party before. So yeah, I go there, and it doesn't just we just don't go to a party and go back home. This is my first time taking alcohol. So what happens is we get drunk and we are caught by the police and the chief, and yeah, we are punished for it. So we went to the cell, we were beaten a few times. It's a whole story and scenario. And the same time, my aunt was giving a talk about against drugs on NTV. And this time I'm 18. But then I just go through my first year, and then the second year at 19, I get pregnant. And I really don't know what to do, because back home everyone is religious. It is wrong. It is not right.
Yeah, based on your past experience with the going out with your friends, it struck a different conversation with the people bringing you up. Yes.
And they are so strict. They were very strict. Like, everyone is so strict to a point of I feel like I can't talk about it. So I get scared. I don't know what to do.
Hello and welcome to the Youth Impact Show. I am your host, Nadia Kiboy. This is yet another amazing episode of the inspirational stories we bring to you here at Success Africa. And today I am joined by an amazing guest. Her name is Kendi, and she'll be sharing with us her story about her life. And hopefully it will be an inspiration to many of you out there. Okay guys, help me appreciate my guest today. She's going to tell us more about herself, and we will get into her story. How are you, Kendi? How are you? You're looking very good.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to this show. It's good to have you. Yes, you can probably tell us about yourself. Yes.
Thank you for inviting me today. My name is Godslove Kendi. I am 23 years old. And I'm currently a student in my final year.
Wow, Godslove Kendi. What a beautiful name, You have 4 names.
Yes, I have Godslove Kendi Mwiti.
Godslove Kendi Mwiti. Kendi, it's an honor to have you in my show, and I've heard of your story, and I felt like your story is an inspiration to many people. And probably to start it off, what is your story like? What is your story like? Yes.
Well, I'll say my story is an adventure that I really didn't. It's not something that you expect. It's not you grow up and you go to school, the normal thing. So it's really an adventure for me. And at the same time, it's been a learning process. And I'm glad that it happened and it's happening. And I'm healing from the heart, and I'm moving on from it. And I'm able to share my story.
Part of what you have said is you're healing from the heart. And I feel like that is what many people, young people, are facing right now, but many people don't have the voice to actually use their stories to inspire people. So from what you have said about heart, what has your journey been like from when you were born to now?
From when I was born on July 7th, 1999. I was the only child to my mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Mwiti. I was not the healthiest of babies, but after I had a period of where I was in and out of hospital. And then afterwards, my mom fell sick, and it was also another journey. So it was a whole adventure, because after my getting well, my mom really became sick afterwards. So, and I didn't really I grew up without the, my mom is there, she's healthy, and all the healthy things you get to do with your parents, and the money is going with the medical bills, and a lot happened, and I was the only child, and I'm also the first grandchild to my grandparents on my mom's side. So it was really a roller coaster on everybody, and yeah, there was a lot going on.
Okay, I want us to get deep into your story, and I want you to share your story with us and what your experience has been. I know you have grown up to be a woman who has actually brought up herself from when you were young. You mentioned about your mom passing on. How was that like for you?
Well, that was back in 2008. I was in class 3. I had just begun class 3. It was a normal day. I came back from school. It is so vivid. I came back from school, getting home. Everyone is frustrated, everyone is crying, and of course nobody tells an African child, this and this has happened. So people try to hide it, but there's that something is wrong. Because that morning my mom woke me up. She had gone for her normal medical checkup, because she had lupus. So she'd gone for her normal medical checkup. She woke me up, talked to me, kept telling me the way, the world, you have to be yourself, do 1 2 1 1 2 and 3, like that. And it wasn't a talk where my 8-year-old would really understand or understood at the time. But as time went by, it hit, because coming back from home, nobody told me what happened. My aunt who took her to hospital really didn't communicate until the day of the funeral. That's when I get to see that my mom is lying there. And well, death is not really discussed. So that was me accepting now she's gone. She's not here anymore, because I could tell from how everybody was. And I remember I asked to touch her, because she had very long hair. She was so beautiful lying down, and she had a smile. So I really asked to touch her, and the people around me were like, that's wrong. So I didn't get that. At that point, I really didn't understand what was going on. But I could tell from my grandmother was the most affected. I could tell from my grandmother and everyone that things won't be the same. They won't be the same. And I wasn't part, I was at the funeral, but kids were taken to watch a movie. So I really missed on my mom's funeral. I was just there to throw the sand, and the kids were taken. And I feel like I should have been there. Someone should have talked to me instead of just go, this is too hard for you. Because over time, it kept replaying in my mind what happened. Okay, she's gone, she's not coming back. Because after that, nobody really had the conversation of what happens afterwards or how I'm supposed to feel afterwards. It's more of you'll figure it out. And I feel like as much as the kid is young, there should be that process of taking the kid through it, and it happened.
From your story, I can tell that you are ambushed with your mom's death. And as you have said, it's clear that death is not discussed. It's something the society feels like, we need to hide passing the message of death to young kids. Yet, if that phase of mourning is skipped, then it catches up with you later. And I'm so sorry to hear about that. But what shocks me is you have had experiences with life, other than losing your mom, you have had another experience with your life, and you are still strong. You're able to do the things you're doing. You're able to keep pushing with school. You said you're in school. And you're also able to, cater for your needs as a young girl who's growing up. So what was your next journey after losing your mom? Because I feel like your story is going to touch many people out there who probably have gone through the same thing. And to see you this strong, maybe there are things that you have learned and there are things that are actually keeping you pushing. So what was your next story like?
Well, that was early 2008.
Yes.
I was in class 3, as I mentioned earlier. So immediately after my mom's passing, a week or two, it was less than a month, my dad travels to the States. So I'm left with my mom's parents, my grandparents. So what happens is, then my family wasn't really developed apart from my uncle. So this is where family comes in. So my uncle and my aunt take me as their child. They become my guardians through it all. They take me to Nakuru. So the whole time I was in Meru. I have been living in Meru. This is a village, a very small village. Then I transitioned to Nakuru town, and I'm taken to a very good school, Lions Primary. So people have great English, great Swahili. I just know Kimeru, and then there's French, and I'm very confused. So I feel left out. And as time went by, my guardians see that I'm struggling, and they take me to a boarding school. So I do my Form 4, and then I go directly to boarding. The whole period, nobody talks about it. We literally moved on past it, and I do understand family does what they know it's best, and I do appreciate for that, because we moved on past it, and my uncle was now my dad, and I was being told, now call him dad, call your aunt mom, and it's different. My dad travels, my mom is not there, but now I have a dad and a mom. So now I go to boarding school. So when you go to when I am in school, like after closing, everyone has their stories. My mom has done, my dad has done. I really don't have much to talk about, because I really don't even understand what happened. So at some point, I start lying, and it just becomes a part of me, because it has already begun from the point where I'm telling you, she is my mom, she is my dad. So it becomes a part of me. So it becomes like, you know what, it's okay, it's just a small lie, because, I mean, no one will know. So eventually it just becomes frustrating, because as much as they give you all the care and the love, there's just something that's missing, and you're not 100% you, because there's a lot that you just haven't dealt with and you haven't talked about. But then they bring me up in the best way possible. But I feel like the insecure me, the child me, was still there, because as they brought me up, I didn't talk much to them. If I encountered something, I wouldn't talk to them so openly, and there was just a few things that, restricted me from communicating how I felt, because I didn't know how to. In the first place, I didn't even know how I felt, because now I know I hadn't let go.
Yeah.
You see, I hadn't let go. There was all that building up. Nobody tells me anything that's going on. There was a lot. So I just resorted to, nobody cares. Let me just keep it in. So my uncle and my aunt travel a lot for work. So most of the time they're not there from Monday till Friday. So yeah, my siblings, now my cousins and I, are brought up by the house help. And the house helps, very few house helps stay for a very long time. So there's a different person in and out of our lives. And I am the firstborn grandchild, so I end up learning responsibilities to take care of my siblings. And I end up knowing that now I have to do this, So there was this one time I come back from school, the youngest, my youngest sister is 10 years young, and my brother is 7 years younger. So the house help just left the kids and didn't say anything. And my aunt wasn't in, and my uncle wasn't in, and I didn't know what to do. This is a baby, and I was in class, I think 6. I was in class 6 because my youngest sister was born when I was in class 4. So I come back from home, we've closed. I get to the house, my siblings are alone, the baby is crying, and I feel like this is a lot because I'm from being the only child, I really didn't know much. And now I have to do something because the baby is crying. So now that is where I think it hit me to a point of, as much as it's been me, there are others who are behind me, and I have to know what to do. So I called my aunt, and she was like, no, because I'm far from work, you have to be responsible. You have to make sure they've eaten and they've done. So it hits me because in my head, I'm like, well, they've been telling me since they were young, they've been doing this. They've been going to the river, fetching water, and they were younger than me. So I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I learned how to do so many things because I had to for them. So that day I learned how to cook. I hadn't cooked by myself, so that day I cooked for them. Yeah, and that time we were in Kijabe, but she came home. And I think that was very scary because they're kids, and I really didn't know much about it. But I was observing with what my aunt was doing. And I remember I gave my sister a bottle of milk that's a bit hot because I didn't know if, you're supposed to check the temperature. And I really panicked. I really panicked. So I came to see that we are expected to know what to do when a situation just arises. And most of the times it doesn't tell you, you know what, you'll have to. It just comes and you have to know what to do when it does. So yeah. So after that, I transferred to my next school where it was Heartbreak, Naivasha, where I finished my class 8. I'm finishing class 8. I went to high school. The whole time they're my guardians, my parents, everyone knows they're my parents. So in high school, I get to meet different people from different backgrounds, and everyone has a story to tell, and everyone is from a different family. So I go to tuition, and yeah, I am influenced, let's go here, let's have a party. I have never been to a party before. So yeah, I go there, and it doesn't we just don't go to a party and go back home. This is my first time taking alcohol. And this is a first time for me, and I have never done this, and I really don't have so many friends because of the school's transfer and a lot. So I see this as an opportunity to make friends since I'm in high school. I'm in Form 2. So what happens is we get drunk and we are caught by the police and the chief, and yeah, we are punished for it. So we went to the cell, we were beaten a few times. It's a whole story and scenario. And the same time, my aunt was giving a talk about against drugs on NTV. So it really didn't correspond. And from that day, I was trying to do what the rest were doing because I wanted to feel included. But after that day, it didn't feel that way. It felt like I shouldn't have done that. I should have just gone home, not, But at the same time, I am glad it happened because I got to make my very good friend who became my very good friend in high school, and she helped me through my high school. And at the same time, I got to learn, this and this is wrong, and we got to have that talk with my aunt of drugs and everything, because yes, she was talking to me, but when it's now here, and yes, now you have friends who drink, you can, yeah.
Yes.
Because I remember afterwards, she took me to the hospital. I had a pregnancy test and everything, and I had not even involved myself with anything, but it was now, okay, now this is real. Like drugs now come with a lot.
Yes.
And as much as we are told in theory, Now this was now real, because there's a lot. Yes, you were drunk, you didn't know it was your first time, something might have happened, you could have been raped, you didn't know. So everything was making sense as to why she rushed me to the hospital, why she panicked. But at that time it was anger. Why would you think I did this? Why would you think I did this? But yeah, so after that scenario, we go back to school, and well, the principal is informed, because the chief had to inform the principals. So the principal gives us a talk, and yeah, the friends who now we got drunk with, they weren't in my school, because it was a tuition where there's different students from different schools. So one of them comes to the school, and she ends up being my very good friend for the longest time possible in high school. And when she tells me her story of her mom and everything, and I come to understand that yes, you do have parents, but you also have challenges as yourself. So I come to accept my own challenges as, okay, now my problem was I was feeling bad because I didn't have parents, but now I do understand you with parents, you're also going through challenges. So I hesitate to talk to her about my life, but after a while I do talk to her, and she's like, so I tell her after my high school, after high school is when I tell her also, my uncle is my dad is really my uncle, and now I take her back to everything. So she's like, so you've been lying? I'm like, I haven't really been lying, but it's the way it's supposed to be. So for a minute, she felt like as a friend, I am a liar, and there's more I excluded. But it's more of, it started from a very young point, and I didn't mean to lie. It's more of I was told to. But we worked through it. So after a while, I remember I didn't really run away, but I remember I got away from home, and then I got away from town. I felt like there was a lot of pressure there. So I just decided to go back home before the results come out. So I go to Meru, stay in Meru for a while, and the change of scenery is huge. It's very huge. It's huge. So going to Meru, we are waiting for my results. When people were filling in the campus you want to go and the course you want to do, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew I just want to be done with school, and that's it. So I really didn't feel anything out. So before the results came in, there was that last call for you guys to fill in before the results come in. So when I'm back home, a friend of mine fills it in for me. He's like, you know what, you can't just not fill it in. Let me fill it in for you. So he just fills in business courses and just one university, the cooperative university. And yeah, and then when the results come, I get to be called to the cooperative, and it was nice.
That's where you are
Yes,
now?
that's where I am right now. But I started with my diploma of business management, but now I'm currently doing my bachelor's of commerce. But yeah, so I get to campus. I am 18. So my aunt brings me to town, leaves me in town. I have to fill the whole registration process alone at school. Again, people are being brought by parents, and people have people, and then there's me who's trying to figure out, okay, where's the administration block? Where's everything? So again, I feel so left out, really left out. And there's some papers I had left back at Meru, and it just becomes so crowded.
It was a lot.
Yeah. So I went into the hostel. So at the hostel, this is where I started making friends, because there was a friend of mine from Nakuru who was there. So he introduces me to his friends at a different school, but at least through them, I get to have people in my school to help me throughout the process. So I register, and this time I'm 18. But then I just go through my first year, and then the second year at 19, I get pregnant. And I really don't know what to do, because back home everyone is religious. It is wrong. It is not right.
Yeah, based on your past experience with the going out with your friends, it struck a different conversation with the people bringing you up. Yes.
and they are so strict. They were very strict. Like everyone is so strict to a point of I feel like I can't talk about it. So I get scared. I don't know what to do. So it actually came out funny because my friend was like, why are you eating more than you should be eating? So it just happened so fast. So we decide, okay, let me go for an ultrasound, and it happens I'm 5 months pregnant. And the whole time, because yes, because the
drip.
not the drip, the minis, what are they called? The family planning.
Yes.
Nobody had really educated me on it, but I did get it. I just went to the clinic and I was like, I want a family planning, because my boyfriend at the time, my boyfriend at the time, he'd been my boyfriend since after Form 4. So my boyfriend at the time was like, oh, there's a lot that I wasn't really educated when it came to sex. So there was we really didn't use like the condom and everything. So we opted for the family planning. And then the family planning, well, nobody really educated me on it. I just went to the clinic. The lady was like, which one do you want? There's this, I don't know, 3 months. Just give me years and what do you want? Not the courses and everything. So I was like, you know what, let me try with the 3 months. So I got the 3 months. And I'm like, okay, I haven't gotten my periods. Every time I go back, she's like, that's an effect. It's one of the effects. So it really had never crossed my mind. I haven't gotten my period for the longest time possible. Because, let me check. Because she'd been telling me it's an effect. So I was okay with it. And I wasn't showing. I'm really small. So I really wasn't showing. So getting my ultrasound, I'm 5 months pregnant and I don't know what to do. So I decided to call my dad, who's really far, instead of my nearest family, because I felt like they are too strict, they won't understand. And calling my dad, who's really far, maybe he won't punish me as much. The most he can see is words. So I decided to keep it to myself. I still meet with my family, but I'm very small. You can't really tell.
Yeah, you can
and
tell.
I am wearing baggy clothes, and normally I wear baggy clothes. So it wasn't a curiosity thing for them.
Yeah.
So at around 7 months, 8 months is when I decided to tell my grandma, you know what, this has been happening. Because in high school I used to sell pin pops at 20 bob, so there was some money I saved up. So I had moved myself out.
Yeah.
And I had told myself, let me figure it out now, because now I know they'll be mad. After I have delivered, I can talk to them.
Yeah.
But now, and my boyfriend at the time, when I gave him a call after realizing I was pregnant, he was like, it's either you abort it or don't involve me. And I chose not to involve him because I was 5 months and abortion really was scary at the time because I'm alone. So it's like, I'll just keep it and figure it out. So a month before my due date, as I was going for the clinical checkups, the doctor is like, we can't really feel the heartbeat. You need to go to hospital. You need to get it, you need to deliver. We can't really feel the heartbeat anymore. And I was dilated, but not so much dilated. So I go to hospital and I stay there for 2 days. Nothing. I was in labor for quite a while. So this is me at 19, and I end up having a stillbirth. So my family members didn't know, and they come in, and after that nobody talks about it. It just happened. Nobody talks about it. So after that, my grandfather comes to see me and he's like, you know what, don't let it happen again. Just go back to school and read. So after that, I just graduate, join my next bachelor, start my bachelor's. It just becomes normal.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I didn't heal from all that. It kept coming back, it kept building, just building, up to a point where I told myself, okay, now I'm 22 and I need to know what to do, because I can't be mad at everyone for not doing what they're supposed to do while I am supposed to be the one doing it.
Yeah.
So I the good thing is I really have amazing friends. That's the good thing. So my friend is like, we'll walk through it, we'll talk about it, we'll know what to do. If we have, we'll do whatever we have to do so that we get a therapist for you. And that was like, okay, as much as I say people aren't here, they are here. Because that was someone who was ready to, I'll be there with you, we will do this. So yeah, that really came along, and it really helped me a lot, because the little money I had saved from the pin pops became a big deal later on, because it really helped with a lot with the finances the whole time. But I didn't tell anyone. So it happens because after high school in campus, I still started selling clothes and bags and shoes. So I still was saving, but then I was spending the money. There was that art of, I was just getting the money and spending it. No, I got a whole clear picture of life isn't, you go to school, finish, graduate, get a job. Like, a lot can happen, and I'm just living off, someone else is doing it. So now I get to understand that, okay, it's real. Now I have to do this. So what I just continue selling clothes, and now I start knowing that there's a lot that, you can save for tomorrow that really is unexpected, and it's an emergency. So yeah, so that's where I am at.
Wow. When you were talking, I was, Kendi, you're 19, you were 19, and now you're 20, 23, and you've been able to overcome very big stones in your life. And I can't even begin to explain how, because you have done so much. You have done so much. You have been through a lot, but you're still standing. The best thing is you're still standing and you're still pushing. And your story is an inspiration to many, including myself. And I feel like life has its own fair. It has its own share of challenges, and whatever attitude we put when handling these challenges determines where we go next. Through your story, it's been a journey, and there's something significant I'm reading from your tattoo, and maybe you would want to tell us the significance, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it has a meaning to you.
It does, actually. So I went through the whole process of, what will my baby be, a boy or a girl? And I looked for names, and I came up with the name it's in the Bible, actually, Cadmiel. So I wanted to call my baby Cadmiel Stephen. It was a boy. I had so many expectations. My baby was due 5th November, but it came early. It was a stillbirth, so I delivered. It was a stillbirth on 30th of March, 2019. So I put it there because I feel like that is something that everyone pushed behind. It just happened. It was a mistake. Don't repeat it. But that was my child, and it is a part of me. It's not going to be. It was. It still is a part of me, and I feel like no matter how old I'll grow, or how many kids I get to have, or whatever happens in life, I still want to remember that it happened, and this person was there, and they made me feel a certain type of way, and they brought up so many qualities, so much that I didn't know I had. And I feel like it just, every day, like, let's say if I look at the mirror and I get to see the tattoo, I tell myself, you know what? I didn't have time with you, but I can still create myself to be able to be, where I want to be. If someone else comes, if I'm to have another child, I can still be able to be the best mom I want. Because at some point I was like, I don't want to be a mother anymore. I can't do it anymore. But then when I look at it, I'm like, you know what? I can. Because no one is telling me, Kendi, you can't. And if someone tells me I can't, because I know I can, because I did. I was in labor for a very long time. It's something that people don't talk about. Nobody does. But I was there. And I got to feel what it feels, if I'm to sit with a mother, with someone's mom or an older woman, they'll be like, you're too small to understand.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you really don't know. So I'm like, you know what? I was really small, and it happened.
Yeah.
And I just didn't deal with I gave birth.
Yeah.
I dealt with a loss.
Yes.
So it just reminds me of I can. If I want to, I really can.
Okay. Wow, that's a good it's a good significance of your tattoo, and it's beautiful. Cadmiel is such a beautiful name. It is well. You have businesses. I know you want to reach out to people and let them know that this is what you do. Yes, so you can go ahead.
So I have a clothes page. It's called Must Have Closet on Instagram. I also do farming. It's really, it's not much.
Yeah.
But I came to realize that the pocket money is actually, when you save the pocket money, it's something, you know.
Yeah.
I came to realize that you can rent land at 10,000 for, you know, a whole year, and get to do and get to, you know, I'm experimenting. I'm really not good at it.
Yeah.
But I want to learn, because I feel like right now everyone is looking for the office jobs, and everything, and food is very expensive currently.
Yeah.
So it's more of, I'm trying farming. Yeah. I'm learning farming.
What are you farming now?
Currently maize, dengu.
Dengu.
Yeah.
Wow. Dengu is green grams, for those who don't know. But that's amazing. That's really amazing. I mean, Kendi, you're doing great and amazing things that nobody in your age is doing. And it's a challenge for us out there, young people who are out there, and they feel like, wow, I cannot do it. There are people who are doing it. Yeah, despite the challenges, there are people who are doing it. And yeah, that is it for us today from our inspiration stories. I've been your host, Nadia Kiboy. Thank you.